Hi, this is Heather Widener of Hue Bijou for the 2015 ICE Resin Design Team. Today I'm going to show you how to take advantage of ICE Resin's optical effects to create a magnification of lots of small snowflakes. The supplies you'll need today include ICE resin, mixing cups and stir sticks, a small pair of scissors, some metallic paper, acrylic paints in your choice of colors, a mold for making domes, a disposable paintbrush, and an Art Mécanique mixed metal hobnail bezel. You will also need snowflake images, which I printed on transparencies made for my inkjet printer and sized to fit the domes that I'm going to mold later. The first thing we need to do is cut out a piece of our metallic paper to fit our bezel. Then prepare a batch of ice resin and place a thin layer of resin in the bottom of the bezel, which will secure the layer of metallic paper. You want to make sure that you spread the resin all the way to the edges quite thoroughly, and if you do not want that texture of the resin to appear, you can actually apply an even thinner layer by simply dipping the edge of a paper towel into the resin and spreading it that way inside the bezel. That will actually give you a much thinner layer of resin than even using a stir stick. Using the same batch of ice resin that you used to secure your paper layer, fill the openings in your mold to the top of the molds in order to build the domes onto which you will eventually attach the snowflake images. You want to let these molds set up for approximately 6 hours until they're quite firm. While your molds are setting, prepare another small batch of ice resin and divide it into separate mixing cups based on the number of colors you want to use. I was using 4 different colors of blues, so I used 4 cups. To keep the paint as transparent as possible, you want to use a very small amount of the acrylic paint in the resin. Pour your prepared tinted resin into the bezel. What you want to do is basically visually divide the bezel into an equal number of parts based on the number of colors you have. So since I had 4 colors, I divided my bezel into fourths, and I poured each color into a different quadrant of the bezel. Once you have all the colors in the bezel, pick it up and gently roll it and tilt it to get the resin to spread all the way to the edges and to create a pleasing pattern with the colors. If you want to create a swirl pattern, all you need to do is carefully roll the bezel and the colors will swirl together. You do not want to overmix because then they'll just become a big muddled mess. Gently blow through a straw to remove any bubbles. Mix another small batch of ice resin and apply extremely small amounts to the top of your hardened molded domes. If you do not feel that the stir stick gives you enough control over the amount of resin you're applying, you can use a disposable brush to apply even less. Use one of your stir sticks to pick up each individual snowflake and place it on the dome which you previously prepared with the thin layer of ice resin, which in this case is going to serve as an adhesive for the snowflakes. Let the snowflakes cure in place for at least 1 to 2 hours, longer if you have the time, checking them every 10 or 15 minutes in the initial hour to make sure that they are not sliding off of center. Prepare another very small batch of ice resin and apply a thin layer on top of the snowflakes to seal them onto the domes permanently. Let these cure overnight. Now that your domed snowflakes have fully cured and are hard, remove them from the mold. Prepare a very small batch of ice resin and paint a thin layer on top of your painted resin layer into the bottom of the bezel. This is going to act as the adhesive onto which you're going to apply the snowflakes. This layer of resin does not need to be thick because we don't want the resin to rise up over the domes because it will then take away that domed magnified effect. Do not let that layer of resin cure at all. You can go ahead and place your domed snowflakes right on top of that thin adhesive layer of resin in an arrangement that pleases you, and then let them cure. You want to check the domes about every 10 minutes or so for the first hour, just to ensure that they are not popping up or rising, because you want them to have a good adhesion to the bezel. Let the snowflakes cure overnight and then incorporate your finished bezel into an ornament or a piece of jewelry as you desire. I hope you enjoyed this project. For more information about ICE Resin, including frequently asked questions and tutorials, go to iceresin.com. To purchase ICE Resin and lots of other fabulous mixed media materials, go to rangerinc.com. And for more information about my work, you can find me at huebijou.com and gemfabulous.com. Thanks, and have a great day.